You're listening to the My Simplified Life podcast, and this is episode number 291. Welcome to the My Simplified Life podcast, a place where you will learn that your past and even your present don't define your future. Regardless of what stage of life you're in, I want you to feel inspired and encouraged to pursue your dreams, simplify your life, and start taking action. I'm your host, Michelle Glogovac, author of How to Get On Podcasts, the podcast matchmaker, and CEO and founder of the MLG Collective. I'm excited to share the stories and life lessons of changemakers and authors with you while taking you on my own journey. This is My Simplified Life. Hey, Steph.
Hey, Michelle.
It's our second episode of Booked and Unfiltered.
I'm so excited.
How are you?
I'm okay. It's been a week. I mean, it's been, I think, a month, several months for everybody. But this week was a doozy. It was a doozy. And we're still in it. And I don't know when I'll pull out of it. Maybe tonight. Maybe tonight it'll be all done. I don't know.
Maybe in 1900 days.
Oh my gosh. Yes. How are you?
Same. I wake up. You do not want to be on the road with me. And if you drive a Tesla, oh man,
yeah.
I'm like, get out of my way.
A lot. I mean, I bet there's a lot there too. Are there? Yeah.
Oh my, I don't know how you go to the parking lot here if you have one, because there's that many.
Wow.
If you don't know where you parked, you're screwed.
Wow. That is crazy. We see some like here and there, but not a ton. But like Colorado, you kind of need a hardier vehicle.
Yeah.
There's so many terrains and like weather situations that you feel like you need, I mean, I don't know. I've never driven a Tesla, but you need like, I don't know, like a SUV or something. That's usually what people drive. So I don't see quite as many, but I bet in California with all of the traffic and
they're here. They're based here for now. And we live less than 2 miles from the school. And one day I was like, you guys, let's do a counting game. Count how many Teslas you see on the way to school. And there was over 50.
No.
One way to school. Over 50. Yes.
That
and we
insane.
didn't drive. We don't drive the freeway. These are just regular streets, less than 2 miles, 50 Teslas on the way to school.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah.
What are those weird looking like
Cyber trucks?
Yes.
Oh yeah, we got those too. Oh yeah.
There's a parking lot across the street from my boys' school that is full of them. And they're the weirdest looking things.
They're
ugly.
I look
at them and I get so cranky and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, they're ugly. And we've got some dads at school who have one. And I'm like, you do not have BDE, you have SDE. I said it. We are unfiltered. And
this
that is
when we're unfiltered.
It's truly, if you want to know what the thoughts are when I am driving, these are the thoughts and the words that come out of my mouth. So,
Oh my goodness.
The secrets are out.
The secrets are out.
We're letting everybody get to know us for real. So
we are, which I love. It's like kind of our therapy space. Okay, so when is this going to air, this episode?
This one will be in a week and a half.
Okay.
So
awesome.
Today is March 14th.
It's Pi Day.
It is Pi Day. And I saw, yes. And then, of course, last night I made a quiche. And I'm like, well, hello. I wasn't planning that one. That was stupid.
Today is Pi Day. I know. My favorite a kind of holiday. It's like my own personal holiday, I guess. Me and mathematicians, pie bakers and mathematicians.
I love it. Yeah. So are you celebrating more pie? I saw your post that you're doing, like you posted more pies, but are you doing something at home for Pi Day?
No, I mean, I think some years I do, but I baked the pie. Well, I made the kids that Pirates pie for that cute children's book earlier this week. And, and they've been just eating pie all week. I mean, it's hard to just make this day distinct just because there's always like pie, right, in our house. So it's not that exciting.
I want to be your child.
Yeah. they're sometimes they're sick of it, but they get excited. This week, they really loved the Pirates pie.
It was adorable. Yeah.
Thank you.
And
then today is also a literary character day, which I'll admit as a reader, I should love. And I do love the idea of Literary Character Day. As a mom, it's not my favorite because March is already crazy as it is. I think you have a March baby, right?
Three
Oh,
out of 4.
oh my gosh. Cooper, my oldest, is turning 11 on the 18th. And then there's St. Patrick's Day. My family always does a big thing for St. Patrick's Day. And then, you got spring break and all the things. And so throwing Literary Character Day in there is always like, okay.
Yeah.
So, but my son Bishop really wanted to go as a pirate, which was really cute. So
I saw that. That's adorable.
we got all that together and I was like, oh, we did it. But it was, as a reader, I felt ashamed at my level of crankiness over it. But I think as moms, having another day where you have to dress your kids up in something, it's like, I can't do it.
No, I think it was last week, we had a spirit day or it was crazy hair day.
Oh, yeah.
It was for Dr. Seuss's kicking off reading across America.
Right. Yeah.
And it was a Monday. And I said, who chose a Monday?
Who did that? Yeah. I mean, at least today is Friday, so that like helped. But I was like, oh my gosh. And I run a book club. And of course that was last night. So then I was like, I'm going to need you guys to figure out the costumes while I'm gone and I felt so bad because I should be like, this is the best day. But the boys get picky about what they want to dress up as. And it's hard I keep trying to make them go as Hercule Poirot from Agatha Christie's novels and none of them will do it. So until that day, I'm cranky about it.
That means you have to dress up like that for a drop off or something.
I would totally do that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yes, it is. It's something. It is.
We looked at, I told you before that my son's always like, what pie came out today?
Oh, I know. I love him. He's so sweet.
Last night it was Counting Backwards.
Yes.
And Jackie's episode came out too. And I went, oh, we have another pie. And he goes, okay. And I always show him the book first.
Yeah.
Oh, that matches so perfectly. Oh, that's so good, Mom.
He is the sweetest. Oh my gosh. I'm so appreciative. I'm so
major props again.
Thank you. Thank you. I got a little nervous about that pomegranate, but we did it.
It's beautiful. I loved it. I love the book.
Thank you.
I think we talked last week too about how so many of these books feel like they're so relative to today.
And this one was deeply relevant for today. And I was like, which is, I don't want to disregard all the waves and the progress that so many women have made for women in fighting. But it is really discouraging when you read like this stuff is still happening and just bodily autonomy, all of that. I think it's a battle we'll probably always fight. So I never want to say like we've made no progress because obviously progress has been made and there's been a lot of heroes out there making progress. But I do think books like this are so important because they bring to light, hey, this stuff is still happening and these are still issues. And, just it's important to bring awareness to that, even through a fictional lens. I think that's really important. So, man, I need to listen to your episode with her.
Yes, it was so good. I love a good author who's been an attorney and
and so many of them have. It's incredible. And I'm like, could you be more of a slacker? I mean, like, could you do you, Abby Jimenez blows my mind. She was a lawyer. And then she decided, hey, I'm going to take this cake decorating class. Like she wanted to do something. So she took like a Wilton cake decorating class, right? But then it blew into her starting her own cupcake shop, Nadia's Cakes, which won the Cupcake Wars on the Food Network. And then it turned into these bakeries that like got really famous in the Midwest. And then she decides, I think for fun, I'm going to write romance. And then she turned it into like a New York Times bestselling romance writer, rom-com writer. And I'm like, does anything you do it's all amazing. Like everything she touches turns to gold and it's incredible. I'm like, wow.
Yes, please.
That is amazing.
And she's got this, I've watched her Instagram stories with the last book last year and how her cute little husband will go through the airport and he's filming her. Oh and
my gosh. I have not met him, but I have heard rumors that everybody needs a Carlos. That is her husband. And he is like the number one book husband. Like he's there for everybody, like taking care of, like bringing her water. And I'm like, that's why she's able to write the amazing men she writes in her stories because she has one, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So, but she's incredible. And I'm so impressed with all of these authors that are, lawyers or doctors and, like Rosie and like just so many different things.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa.
I just interviewed, it'll come out next month, Elizabeth Deeney, bearer of
Ooh,
bad news.
yes.
She's
You
an
were saying that.
attorney at the International Criminal Court in the Netherlands.
Oh my gosh.
She does trial stuff for war crimes. And yeah, I was like, this is so cool.
Yeah. Oh
Oh,
my
yeah. I
gosh.
totally geeked out on her.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, it is. It's incredible what people accomplish. I am not ever going to be that accomplished of a human being, but I am here making pie.
Stop.
I won't.
Stop. You are making pie. You are reading books. You're raising humans. You're my
Okay.
co-host. So now you can call yourself a podcaster.
Yes, that's true. You've given me another title, which is so fun.
I love it. I love it. And people, as we're recording this, people still don't know that it's you.
I know. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. When does our debut air? On
On
next
Wednesday. Yeah.
Okay.
Wednesday, the 19th.
Okay. Oh, that's so exciting. I was looking at my calendar. That that is so exciting. I can't wait.
Yeah. We're both like, everybody's listening right now. We're like, it's coming. It's
we're
coming so
ready.
much fun. Yes. We're so ready. We're going to tease it up some more.
I have a question for you that is not book related.
Give it to me.
I am always like reading all the time. So it's rare when I branch out and like watch a show.
Oh, yeah.
But I just finished the Ruby Frankie documentary on Hulu. It's only 3 episodes. Have you seen that?
No. You need to text me this stuff so then we can hash about it.
Talk about it. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm watching White Lotus and it finally got good.
Is it good?
Yeah, I watched the first 2 seasons. We loved them, and this one's been really slow. There have been people on Threads who are like, I stopped watching.
Yeah.
And then this week I was like, here we go. And
good.
Ted's
That's
like,
awesome.
but don't we only have 3 more episodes?
Yeah. It's like, okay, great. That is a bummer.
So what is this documentary on?
Okay, so Ruby Frankie was, and I didn't know who she was when all this came out. It came out, I think, August 2023. And she was a really famous family vlogger back in the day on YouTube, and a Mormon family from Utah. What was really interesting that I learned in this is that, I mean, I haven't asked, are you LDS?
No, I was born, raised Catholic, and now we're just...
Okay.
I've got a funny story for you, though, when we talk about that. We're like, we should go to church more. My husband's Serbian Orthodox.
Yeah.
There is a dad at soccer who last night, he starts talking about drinking and happy hour. He's a pastor. And I was like, we need to find out where his church
What's
is.
That church?
Because we would like to go to that one.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's where I am. So no, not LDS.
Totally. I love it. Okay, I'm not either. So I didn't. And I don't mean this in an offensive way at all, but it was interesting to see that that the LDS church, that they really encourage all their members to be online as much as possible, because they're trying to show their perfect like lives and how wonderful their lives are. And so that's why you have so many LDS family vloggers.
And there's that whole there's a Bravo show there with the Mormon Life.
Oh yes,
that's a hot mess. Yeah, and then
my gosh,
I'm pretty sure, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is a lot of the Tradwife stuff.
Yes, it's like, in a specifically Utah Tradwife, because I think the Mormon community, and again, I'm not an expert, I've just like seen bits and pieces, but from what I've seen and heard, it's like they're really big on perfection, right? Like they believe that they're supposed to be perfect, but I think that also applies to their outward appearance. So they're not allowed to do any like tattoos and stuff, I think. But they do like plastic surgery, or, they're not allowed to have coffee, but they have all these soda shops. They're all obsessed with like soda. And so a lot of the women, like all very the same, like blonde, like, just kind of cosmetically altered. And I do think they function more by like traditional values, which is fine. It's just, I think they're in this bubble, and like there's a lot of wealth, and like it's all kind of weird and kind of culty anyway. And then you've got this Ruby Frankie, who was, she had 6 kids, and then her and her husband, and they started this vlogging. She's like, I want to show people how wonderful our life is. But I genuinely think it was like this need for attention. I think it takes a special level of ego and like perseverance to be a lifestyle blogger when you have that many kids, like in like film your kids. I personally don't agree with it just because the kids aren't consenting and they shouldn't be your employees. And I think kids should be able to come home at the end of the day and like relax and not have like a camera on them every second of their lives. Right. And I think that they got, which California is
We've
awesome.
just passed a law.
They just
Yeah.
passed that law, which is amazing. Well, now there's this like exodus of vloggers from California to like Tennessee because they don't want to pay their kids. And I'm like,
Peace out, y'all.
yeah, I was
Go
like,
away.
that was so good. They should be paid the rate of a child actor because that's what they're being. Like, it's just crazy. So anyway, she started this blog and everything was like, la la, we're like wonderful family, you know, for a while. And then it got more and more popular and they're bringing in like $100,000 a month, right? Like tons with YouTube. I mean, they have millions of subscribers. And she started to get to this place. Her oldest son was starting to rebel. I think because he had no control like in his life. Anyway, she finds this counselor and who's Jody Hildebrandt, and she got really highly recommended, all this stuff. Well, Jody kind of is making her own cult and then like within it, and she and Ruby get really involved. Like Ruby just kind of falls under her spell and things get really, really bad. And it all blew up in August 2023 because her son escaped out of Jody Hildebrandt's house. Ruby's son escaped, found the neighbors, went to the neighbor's house. He was completely emaciated, tied to the wall. There was like duct tape on his wrists and ankles. It was horrific, the abuse. So Ruby and Jody are both serving 4 counts of child abuse, up to 30 years in prison. But it's interesting watching the story unfold and like Jody's manipulation and just how susceptible Ruby was to it because she already kind of needed the attention and the control. And then she had this basis of like believing whatever religious thing people would say to her. And so it was crazy. It was crazy.
Where's the husband?
Oh my gosh, the husband. He's interviewed in the documentary. They interview the husband, the oldest daughter, she's the only one that saw how dangerous all of this was. And then the son, Chad. And Sherry, the oldest daughter, was like, this is not okay. And like was ringing the bells and looked up Jody and was like, she lost her license. She tears apart families, all of this stuff. And the husband was basically under Ruby's control. I mean, he would do anything Ruby asked him to do. So he just did whatever. So he got in with Jody. And of course, Jody made him love her at first. And then she starts tearing him down, splitting them up. It was crazy. So then you'll have to watch for all the details, but Ruby asked the husband to leave the house and he leaves for a year, doesn't speak to any members of his family.
He just had an interview with People, didn't he?
He might have, yeah.
Where they're getting a divorce now, but he's like,
excuse me.
Well,
Yeah.
I still love her.
And yes. And he's like,
I read the interview and I was like, I don't know what happened here, but
it is like, I understand he was brainwashed as well, but as a parent and a human, I will never understand a parent walking away from their children just because your spouse says to. Like, she's like, you're causing damage in our marriage because of your lust and whatever, and you need to leave the home and do not speak to anyone for a year. Or she didn't say a year at the time. He didn't know how long it would be. And it was a year. The only reason she contacted him is because that son escaped and went to the police station. And she calls him up and she's like, hey, the 2 youngest are demon possessed. And he is at the police station. And I guarantee he's saying all these lies. You need to go get him and bring him back. That's your redemption. That's your way to redeem yourself. So he shows up like, where are my kids? He's like ready to obey Ruby. And it took him a little while before he really, even after they said he was emaciated, all this stuff, he thought the police were just lying and that it was just like a scam to try to like attack Ruby. And it just was crazy. Like the way he got so, I mean, he didn't stand up for his children at all. He just would literally do whatever. And he admits to that, but I still like have a very hard time forgiving him for that. I'm like, no.
Like how?
He was like, I was the last line of defense for those kids and I packed my bags and left.
Yeah, I don't get the whole dad thing.
No.
And then what's also interesting is if we're talking about this Tradwife thing and how, the Tradwives do whatever the husband wants, like this is role reversal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, it is. It was really interesting. She had the control from the beginning. And he said, I was always a nerd. And I was like, okay, no, there's a difference between a nerd and then like a spineless, jellyfish, right? Like, I mean, like you nerds are just smart people who really enjoy doing smart things, love
Yeah.
learning or gaming or whatever it is you're into. There's a difference. And he just had no self-confidence. And he basically figured out a way to like woo her. She had a bunch of boys courting her, I guess, at the time. She had this chart in her room of all the qualities she wanted and how each of the guys were doing. And so he memorized the chart and just did everything he could. And honestly, I think she picked him because she knew he'd be the most doormatty. Like he'd be the one that she could control.
And she's serving time just on child endangerment, child abuse
Child was
counts.
4 counts. She was arrested on 6 counts. So was Jody. They pled, I'm guessing they pled down to 4 because they both pled guilty. And so they could be in up to 30 years, but I think they can maybe get out in 4. And
In 4 years?
yeah, which is, I hope not, because they should not be able to get out until at least the youngest child is 18, because that is so dangerous.
And they should, I hope they're getting mental health help, because let's be honest, this isn't, I find that with a lot of crimes,
Mm-hmm.
it's not like there's crimes of passion.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. There's retaliatory, the word I'm using,
Right.
retaliatory type of crimes.
Right.
But this is not normal.
No,
This
no.
is not what anyone just does.
No, absolutely not. And it's like there was no, and the dad has a PhD. And I told my boys, I was like, see, so my boys watch bits of it. I didn't let them see the really bad abuse sections, but they found it really interesting watching kind of the family devolve, like kind of, because for years they've been like, we want to be YouTubers. And I was like, no, absolutely not. When you're 18, you can do what you want, but you're not
Yeah.
doing it now, because they look at people like Ryan's World, they get all these
Right.
toys and they
Same.
think, oh, this
Same.
looks amazing, vacations toys. And I'm like, it's amazing till you don't want to do it anymore, till you want to just be a little kid and you don't want to be, always posting videos for content or brands and, stuff like that. And it's so I kind of wanted them to see how the kids ended up reacting. Like they liked being on camera at first, and going viral at first was exciting. And then it got to the point that they were suffocated and they had no control over their lives, and she'd be like, do it again, smile better, or be happier, fake it until, and like one little girl, she was like, you just need to be yourself. And Ruby said, you need to be yourself. She said, this is myself. And she said, well, then change it, to her daughter. I was like, oh. So it's really tragic. It's honestly deeply tragic. But I told my kids that dad has a PhD, and I didn't hear that till my second watch through. And I was like, this is the difference between intelligence and wisdom. Because if you don't have the ability to like see through people's like BS and spot a scam or spot something that's like not okay, or see your ego in it, or the damage it could do to other people, like you just go along for the ride. Like, I don't care how smart you are. Like you come across as an idiot because
it's book smart. Yeah.
Yeah,
I say the
exactly.
same thing. I'm like, you can be
Yeah.
book smart. Doesn't mean you're street smart or
No.
common sense smart.
Exactly. And it was deeply disturbing to watch. I mean, it was heartbreaking watching these kids because they were just poor victims in all of it. And anyway, it's only 3 episodes. It's on Hulu. It's fascinating.
It was disturbing, but we encourage you all to watch it.
We encourage you all to watch it.
And I want to go watch it.
Yeah. And it honestly did lead to some really good conversations with my kids because, I don't think it's ever too young. They're ever too young to learn about making good choices, spotting people that could be negative impacts in your life, even looking out for narcissists. I mean, that's what was happening here. Another one we watched, so then Cooper, my oldest, who loves like learning, was like, oh, documentaries are fascinating. What can we watch next? So then we watched Scamanda, about that girl who faked cancer.
Yeah. I've heard about her. I've listened to the podcast. Yeah.
Yes. And that one was really interesting because she had like a history of lying, like a ton. Like her friend in middle school was like, she'd make up these like random lies. And there is a little boy that my son is dealing with on a regular basis like that I have told him to steer clear of. And so it was interesting seeing these qualities. And I was like, this is what this stuff leads to. Like, you can't invest your time in someone that obviously your heart hurts for like whatever reason they are lying like that, right? And they need help from like their parents or an adult, but you can't trust them. And if you, and if you think you can, like, you're going to end up hurt down the road, And so,
Yeah.
I mean, all little kids lie about stuff, but it was just constant, like she would say, like, oh, my parents have a annual pass to Disney, or oh, this, and none of it was true. And it's like, well, you can't just make stuff up. I mean, every little kid has their moments, and I think usually it's in times of like stress they can, all of a sudden out of the blue make up a weird story, but I don't think it's this consistent, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think when we moved when I was younger, my mom said I told the neighbor I had like a bunch of brothers and sisters that I did not have. And she assumed it was the stress of the move, but she like talked to me and she's like, that's not true. We cannot lie. But the pattern of it is alarming. And so to be
Yeah.
able to spot that, I think early is important, because um there are people in the world that you just can't trust, and you need to be aware of them, and you need to see through all the wonderful things they say or the things you think they're going to do. And we have, seen that multiple times in the
Yes.
world as adults. So,
We're having a similar conversation with the book that Declan and I are reading,
oh,
When the
yeah.
World Was Ours. It's back in World War II, based on a
Yeah.
true story. And the three kids, two are Jewish, one is not, and the one
Mm,
who's not, his father rises up to the top of Hitler's
mm,
army, and the child joins the youth army,
mm.
and he goes from like, these are my friends, to the dad is forcing him to chant these horrific things. And so it was a great opportunity to show Declan how these are learned behaviors.
Yeah.
And so, because on the playground we hear it too,
Mhm.
not those specifically, that
Yeah.
that would be major, but questions about like the birth certificate or your gender. And I go, these kids are picking up from their parents.
Oh, yeah,
This isn't
absolutely.
something. And so for him to be able to recognize
Mhm.
that, oh, you know what, the kid's not inherently bad.
Mhm.
They're being taught these bad things. And
Mhm.
if it's not curtailed now, then they're going to teach their children. And this is why it's been generations of this bullshit.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It is. Oh, man, it is. It's crazy. But I do think these are important, whether through literature or documentaries or whatever it is, those moments with your kids to be like, hey, this is what I was talking about. You see, like, how this happened? Because, I think it's just more tangible for them to grasp onto,
Yeah,
because we can teach
versus
them.
us just
Yeah,
spouting off
saying it,
nonstop.
right?
It's like,
Like,
yeah, okay,
yeah,
mom.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So I've been saying for a year, you can't trust that kid. And he's learned it. He really has learned it, but um, not because of me, but because he's been burned several times. And then watching this, it was like that confirmation of like, oh,
It clicked.
it's not just something you say. Like, this is actually, you know. So
Yeah.
it was crazy. I felt really bad. Back to the Ruby Frankie thing for the oldest daughter. She actually just released a book. It was a book of the month pick. I didn't get it, but I want to read it now. It was called The House of My Mother. And
Oh,
she wrote, it's by Sherry Frankie. And I think it's about her experience. And she was the one with the clearest head on her shoulders. And her dad blocked her, and the mom cut her off. And because she was raising all these flags, and she called 911 to see like a welfare check on the younger sibling. She was very scared and kept like reaching out. And she just was ignored.
who has the
And
kids now?
I don't know. They didn't go into that. I think I do appreciate in the documentary they didn't release the younger name or pictures. They blurred their faces, which obviously most people have seen it from just YouTube and the news coverage. But um, I feel like I remember right after it all happened, Sherry had custody of the kids, or temporary custody, or was trying to.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin has been trying to get custody back of the younger kids, the dad, but he hasn't succeeded yet. And I'm very grateful because, and
Yeah.
I guarantee you, I told my husband, I said, he's going to get back together with her. I don't care if they're divorced. Like, I guarantee you, when she gets out, she comes looking for him and he takes her back because she's got like her hooks into him,
Yeah.
And when you get to a place when you're willing to abandon your children for anyone, even your spouse, like, I don't know that there's really much going back for you. Like, I think you can work to redeem yourself and put up healthy boundaries, but you would have to stay away from that toxic person for the rest of your life. I mean, they've already pushed you further than any human being should go, right?
Yeah.
And so it'll be interesting to see, but if I was placing bets, I would bet they would get back together. But
Yeah.
I hope and pray that they never get custody of the kids again. Because
scary.
that is just no child should be told by their mom that they think they're demon possessed and then tortured and abused. Like, your mom's supposed to be your safe place, right? Your mom's supposed to be your home, and it was just,
and it's like, I'm blanking on her name. Who's the one who just got out of jail for prison for hiring her boyfriend to kill her mom?
Oh yeah.
And she just had a baby.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, it's Gypsy Rose.
Yes. Oh, man, the world is a crazy place, Michelle.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
And how she's planning to teach her daughter or share her story with her daughter. I mean, that's disturbing.
Yeah. Oh, it is. It is alarming. It is. Oh my goodness. So that's been kind of the focus of our week. It's been like this deep dive into documentaries. Cooper goes, how many more are there? Are there more we can watch? And I was like, yes. However, I need to scan them because like a lot of them are like true crime murder stuff, right? And like, I don't want them to.
Yeah, mine would have nightmares.
Yeah. Like, we don't, I mean, I don't want that to traumatize them. I was a little even worried about them seeing as much of the Ruby Frankie stuff as they did see. And so I didn't let them see the really bad stuff. But I did turn the TV off. And I was like, I just need you to know that mommy knows what's true. And I will never let this happen to us. Okay. Like, so this isn't, and I get that mental health can take over people in different ways, but I think like that's such a rare case where, I mean, you have to almost be susceptible to brainwashing, I think, which, I mean, I don't want to say I'm like above that, but I'm pretty good at spotting something that I'm like, meh, I don't feel great about that, so
listening to your gut. I mean, common sense, listening to your gut and being like, that's not right.
That's not right. Exactly. I usually get this like, and it's going to sound all woo woo, right? I get like senses about people, not often, but every once in a while I'll run into someone and I just get this feeling that I'm like, yeah, no, we need to stay away from you. And I've been right every single time. And so I feel I do trust it. I'm not always right. I'm a human being. I can err and I have my own biases and things, but usually when I get like a real sense of someone, I'm like, yeah, no, thank you. We're gonna stay away from that.
Yeah.
So I think it's important as parents, especially, to trust your gut and not let your pride get in the way. But it is crazy out there.
It is. It is.
Okay, so let's talk about something. Have you read anything happy lately? Has anything positive happened for you this last week?
Like, I'm reading a lot of books because it's a big author month right now, client wise.
Yeah, which is great.
It's I'm in the middle of The Joy Reset by Mary Catherine McDonald.
Awesome.
Love MC. She uses a lot of the F word, so I appreciate that.
Yes.
Awesome. I'm reading Love Lessons. Lessons Learned from 104 First Dates by Heidi Friedman.
Yes, awesome.
So all kinds of love stuff.
Nice.
What else? Those two. Absorbed by Jamie Townsend.
Okay, I haven't heard of that one yet.
Goes back to the 90s.
Yes.
It's like a coming of age story.
Awesome.
So yes, that one.
Good.
So those are the positives. Yeah, I still need to start Women Are Angry for book club because that is this month. Yeah.
Okay,
but those are the ones. I just selected my Flatiron influencer books for the summer. I'm
nice. Oh yeah, because
the
Flatiron program. That's
got
awesome.
accepted. Yes.
Congrats. I didn't even see the application thing come up until I started seeing everybody on Thread saying I got accepted. And I was like, oh, I missed it.
Yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, because I don't have enough loaded on NetGalley, stacks behind me. Yes, please send me more books.
Oh my gosh.
So we'll see. I was a little disappointed that Jeremy Renner's Memoir was not included
It
as a
wasn't?
pick. Not a pick for me.
Oh, bummer.
How am I supposed to connect?
How are you supposed to connect with Jeremy? Exactly. Speaking of Jeremy Renner, this is the most random thing ever, but my husband won our television through archery, and which is so random. He was at like some work event and he like was really good. I had no idea that was a skill he had, right? And so I was like, wow, that's attractive. Anyway, and our last name is Hockersmith. And he calls himself like Hawkeye, like, or not himself, our internet or whatever, like is named like Hawkeye. And so if he has to like label his computer, it's like Hawkeye. He doesn't like call. That'd be weird. But anyway, so we think of Jeremy Renner so much because he was Hawkeye in the Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, oh, Dwayne, you're like the real life Hawkeye. That's my Jeremy Renner tie-in story.
That's cute.
Yeah.
How did the braids turn out?
Oh, it didn't do it. It did not do it.
Okay.
Thankfully,
good to know. Because I know all the listeners were waiting with bated breath.
Yes, we did not do the braids. He's still working with the long hair. I really love, like, he's got this curly, soft hair. Like, it's beautiful. And so I love what it looks like, but he is getting frustrated with it, like down around his face and stuff, which I understand. I can't handle it either. So
headbands are not an option, buddy.
No,
not
he
an
doesn't
option.
do that. He didn't do the headbands, but so no braids, thankfully. I think he was a little discouraged by my inability to help him on that front. So he was like, never mind.
Oh my gosh. I feel like we're such a hot mess. This is great.
Oh, we are. I mean, the fact that you're allowing me on your show and then I tell you my random Jeremy, I have like almost, I think it's probably my ADD. I've got like a tie-in to almost everybody, it's like an association thing. So it's like you say a name and I'm like, oh, this, but you do need to meet Jeremy Renner. If you could meet one celebrity, who would you meet? Maybe do male and female or non-binary.
That's really tough because like I have a Post-it. So I have a Post-it on my computer and I always tell people like, you should put a Post-it on your computer to remind you of stuff like, because nobody else can see it.
Yeah.
And it's like big goals,
huge
goals. Like make so much money that Ted can do whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah.
Buy a beach house.
Yeah.
Meet Michelle Obama or Hillary Clinton. I've run into Hillary.
Okay.
Hillary and I have exchanged words. They were aloha.
Oh, nice.
Many years ago. I have it on film.
So you have met her. You just
kind of. Yeah.
Okay.
I remember.
Yeah.
Does Hillary?
Okay.
No. She she would not come up to me and be like, Oahu, 2011. I remember the valet parking lot. Yeah. No.
Oh my gosh.
No. But Oprah. And I've only swung by her house in Maui. Waved at the gardener.
Yeah.
But you've met Oprah. So I'm like connected. There's a number of people that I am that 1 degree away from her.
Yeah.
I've met her pilot. I've golfed with her pilot. So like that was many years ago.
Wow.
So it's always been in the sphere.
Yeah. You're like this close to meeting Oprah.
Yeah. But Kamala, I mean, I'll take some of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a lot that I'm like, yes, please. Yeah. I would like to meet you.
Last summer, I was asked potentially to make and bring a pie to Gretchen Whitmer. And
I have her book.
It didn't work out. I don't know what ended up happening. It was kind of during the Biden's going to step down, so I don't know if they just like canceled in-person stuff because she was a, candidate to potentially step in. Anyway, it was so exciting for the 2 minutes it happened. And I was like, oh yeah, what if I got to, they were like, we want you to come to her house and like deliver the pie. And I was like, oh, I know.
Okay, if these moments happen, I think we need to work out where like I don't know, hold the pie for you.
I know.
I am your assistant.
Yes. Absolutely. I will say I had some major FOMO this week because I apparently missed my Avengers moment. Not actual Avengers like Hawkeye we were just speaking about, but I don't know if you saw. So I made a pie for Amy Griffin's new novel, The Top.
Yes, and there was Oprah and Jenna and Reese.
Yes, I had a ticket to that event because they were free. Like I had wanted to go to Amy's events because I love Amy and I wanted to support her. So I was looking at which ones I should get tickets to. And I saw you could get a ticket to the one at the Ford Foundation for free. You just need to like sign up. So I did that. I was like, great. And that was ideal. Like if I could go to her launch, that would be great. But I wasn't sure if I'd be able to pull it off. Well, unfortunately, I was not able to go because my health took a turn for the worse over the weekend. And kind of some, complicated brain stuff's coming back in that. So it just wasn't doable for me to fly out there. And then I saw that Oprah and Reese and Jenna were all there. And I was like, oh, I could have seen the Avengers assembling in one place. So, but I'm just accepting I wasn't supposed to be there because if I was, I would have been feeling fine. And, but
yeah. But it will
but
all
knowing
come
I had a
together.
ticket, like I could have been there at that moment.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That was crazy. Anyway.
Also,
It's a very powerful memoir. So everyone should read it. I mean, trigger warning, it does deal with sexual assault. So be careful with yourself there.
I have it on my Kindle. It's loaded and I haven't gotten into it.
Oh,
I'm
so
stuck. I've got all of these. I'm like, this is not fair. There are not enough hours in the day.
There's not.
I have another whole stack I need to read before the San Diego Writers Festival because I'm doing interviews. That's April 5th.
Oh, fun.
I'm interviewing, I don't know if I told you, Ed Begley Jr.
No. You are?
Yes. 30 minutes with Ed.
Do you know him personally?
No.
Okay, I don't know.
But he's going to be on a panel. And so I'm podcasting. And so they said, hey, Ed, would you mind doing an interview with Michelle? And I have his email. I can email Ed personally.
He is, from what I've seen on TikTok, the most down-to-earth human being. He still takes the bus. He believes in climate change so much. He'll take the bus.
He had one of the first electric vehicles in the 70s. My husband keeps saying this.
Yeah, that's incredible. He is I think he's just a really down to earth, real guy. And he walks the walk and, he's this is what I believe in. This is what I'm going to live by. And I just was so that is awesome. I am so excited.
So next month there will be an episode with us and we're in person podcasting.
Oh my gosh, Michelle.
So
that is exciting. That is so exciting. I cannot wait to see pictures from that.
It's nice because normally if I share with Ted, hey, this is who's coming on. He's like, I don't know who it is. I'm like, Ed Begley Jr. He's like, oh, I know who that is. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I love that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I love it. That is so fun.
All right, friends, should we wrap it up until next week?
Wrap it up. Yeah. We've just been all over the place. I do want to, next week, we need to talk about your dream dinner party guests. I was thinking about that when I said celebrities you want to meet. Do you ever have that, a dream dinner party in your head of people you'd want to be there?
Oh, now I do. Okay, we're going to work on that one.
Think about it. Watch some documentaries over the next week.
Okay, we're going to do that. We're going to exchange messages. Yeah, not messages. We're going to exchange ideas next week on the episode.
That sounds perfect.
So everybody stay tuned for that. Dinner party guests, our dreams.
Yes, all their dreams. Yeah.
All right, I'll see you next week.
Okay.